Hey, everybody out there in Leaf Land, we're back for a new episode of Five for Talking Leafs edition. I'm here with Caps, the captain of Chirp, the Corporal Caps. He's here. He's going to talk about his Leafs. I'm no longer a fan, so you take it away.
Well, I didn't know I was taking hosting this thing, but let's talk about the extensions. Simone Benoit, who I thought had a tough camp, but has earned his spot on this team, earned an extension with the Leafs. I actually don't have it in front of me. I'll grab it right now.
He will,
But
but while he's grabbing it, I'll tell you this. Caps is a Benoit guy.
well, he
A
brings. I mean, he brings something to the Leafs that a lot of guys don't. Let's just face
defense.
facts and physicality. Um, 3-year contract extension, 1.35 million per season.
That's actually really good.
Yep. And then the second one is an extension for Bobby McMahon, who, in my eyes, has earned himself an extension as well. And I wish I had his number up, but if I can find it,
Well, we don't really
um,
necessarily have to find it.
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay.
But
McMahon's been a decent little piece.
yeah, a good depth piece. I like the fact. Um, I like the fact that some of the depth players have stepped up. I like the fact that it's not just simply looking at um, the top four or whatever just to bring all the scoring and everything, but I like the fact that there have been depth players that actually stepped up, and it's a pretty cool surprise. And unfortunately, I can't find the
McMahon's
numbers, but
contract.
yeah, hold on.
I mean,
You know, but what do you think of it, by the way, at this point?
I think both signings are good, especially for the holes the Leafs need to fill. I think Benoit, like you said, brings something that the rest of the Leafs defensemen don't bring, which is defense. Um, he brings something that Morgan Riley has never brought, which is physicality.
Yeah, so
And
sorry, the McMahon is a 2-year contract worth $2.7 million, which is 1.35 a year.
you can tell by most of the work that the Leafs have put in that they're going for a 2 to 3 year window here, and then they're probably going to blow it up.
Yeah,
Um, so I mean that's fine. I'm good with that.
I'm fine with it too. I agree with your point, but I'm more so because it seems as though that Benoit and Brody have flip flopped throughout the lineup. But the fact is that at this point, I prefer Benoit over Brody. I think standard of Brody's play has kind of suffered a little bit. So I like what Benoit brings to the table more so than Brody.
Hmm.
It seems as though there's something going on with Brody this year. I don't know what issues is going on, but at this point, I prefer Benoit over Brody. Going back to your point about Riley, I'm gonna just hold off on that because for the last couple of years, it seems as though that Riley has a up and down um, season during the season, and then he just kind of steps up in the playoffs. So I'm just going to hold off on my opinion on that, but I will not argue against it because it's definitely warranted. And um, you know, I think this is a pretty good segue because I wasn't going to bring this up, but I'll bring it up anyway. You don't have to argue on it because I'm catching you by surprise on this, but if I'm going to go game one in the playoffs, for me, it's Labushkin and Riley, it's Lilligren and Edmondson, and it's Benoit and it's McCabe. And those are my six. Those are my pairings for game one in the playoffs. And Brody is on the outside looking in. That's just me. And you don't have
I'm
to,
doing
because I
that.
caught you by surprise, but
I'm doing the
um,
same six in the
yeah,
same order, and I'm having Giordano on the outside looking in.
yeah. I will say this: they have options more
Brody's
so
not
this
playing for
year.
me at all. Brody does not touch the ice for the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm just saying in more so this year and then in recent years they have quite a few players. Um, in the event that somebody gets injured, like someone can
Hold
easily
on,
step
I have
in.
a question. Because your team is so young and like you have a lot of energy. Do you run 7 defensemen and take away a forward?
It's so funny because like this was brought up um, this was brought up in a panel. I think TSN might have brought up. I think they have enough pieces up front that they should not have to go with 11 and 7. I really don't. And I will also say this: I honestly think that Nylander and Tavares should not be on the same line. It needs to be spread out. We know that a lot of these teams in the past, what wins Stanley Cups is depth. And by spreading it out a little bit, now you have a lot more weapons that you can work with. I
I would
love the
put
fact that
Tavares on the
Tavares.
third line.
I love the fact that Tavares was on the third line with, I believe it was Nyes and McMahon. It was great. I love that line. It was no, excuse me, my apologies. I believe it was Holmberg, McMahon, and Tavares, and it was a great line. But they definitely need to spread it out. They have to. Um, I think that'll win them series. You can't just like do what they did last year. They have to change it up a little bit. It was working for them for a short period of time before Marner got injured, and after Marner got injured, obviously they had to make a few changes. But when Marner comes back, they need to seriously um, consider that going into the
Yeah.
playoffs.
I mean, I really like the way they played against Edmonton. I thought Max Domi was really, really giving it out there. He was flying back and forth. He got into that fight. That was a huge momentum giver. Everyone was going nuts. Ty Domi was there.
Did you see? Did you see when that fan kind of like tapped Ty Domi on the shoulder and the look that Ty Domi gave that guy? It's like, the hell you touching me for?
Ty Domi.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it,
but I think that's what you need. And he fought a way bigger guy, and I think sometimes in the playoffs that's all it takes.
definitely. And I am looking forward to that kind of play going into the playoffs. I think they are a tougher team this year than in recent years, and I think that will work in their favor. Um,
We'll see
you
if
know,
if this is just a team built for the playoffs and we've been misjudging them for the whole regular season or not within the
I hope
first
we're wrong.
2 games.
I
Yeah,
hope
me
we're
too.
wrong.
I can tell you one thing though.
Yep.
I can tell everyone out there one thing that Caps really likes Edmondson, and that was his move of the deadline. Edmondson or Labushkin? You can only have
What
one.
do I prefer?
You can only have one.
Oh, Edmondson.
Ooh,
Edmondson.
spicy.
However, I'm not going to say no to any of those guys because a lot of the fans out there and we're looking for a top four guy, and it's like I'm
The
not.
Leafs just
I
need
don't.
people to play defense.
Yeah, I have no problem with what they did. Now instead of having instead of getting one guy and then having Riley and that one guy play the majority of the minutes, now you could spread it out. Like that's the
Yeah.
whole point. Like you're gonna in order to go into deep into the playoffs, in order to have a serious run, like you have to spread it out. You can't have your top pair play 30 minutes a night. That's insane. It's not sustainable. And it's not going to work. Now you can roll out three pairings that, will do their job, hopefully. Um, but I have no problem with what they did. Some people were like, "Oh, they pay too much." What the hell are you
No, no.
talking about?
Forget about the fans in that sense. The pundits on all the sites and all the channels. They overpaid. They overpaid. Those have been the two best guys on our team for the last like 15 games.
Yeah, I mean, Labushkin was injured a little bit, but he played well when he was playing.
When
These
he's
are
in the
physical
lineup,
guys.
you could see the difference that they make.
Yeah, they're physical guys. And then you know what the other thing is? The
They
guys
play
that they're playing
defense.
with, they're playing better.
Yeah,
Riley's playing better with Labushkin.
he
Liljegren
knows he
plays
can
better with
move
Edmondson.
now. He can move around. He has freedom.
Yeah. It's all about the finding that perfect pairing or that
This
chemistry.
and so listen, this is my point, and I like to be a character when we're talking about the Leafs, but I'm not a big Morgan Riley fan, obviously, but like I'm just playing it up. My issue with him is that what he's doing now with the stay-at-home guy, and it's working, and he's doing it better now. Like you said, he looks better now, like he has more freedom to do those things. My issue is that he still does those things when he's playing with another guy that plays just like him. His awareness is zero.
Oh,
And I'm glad that he's playing more
agreed.
comfortable now. And it looks good. And I'm okay with Riley doing what Riley does with Labushkin or an Edmondson.
With the exception of one thing.
What? Tell me.
Riley icing the puck. Oh my God. It is, it gets on my nerves, and I'm sure it gets on your nerves too, when the amount of times this guy ices a puck for no friggin' reason. It's absolutely insane how many
What
times
do
he
you
does
hate
that during
more?
the game.
What do you hate more? The Riley icing of the puck or the Jake Gardner pass up the middle to nobody?
The Riley and Brody pairing.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take that. Um, I want to talk about something else, and just because I love to rub this subject in, um, I will tell you right now. You already know where this is going. The Leafs have the same record with or without Mitch Marner in the lineup for one game this season.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were gonna talk about somebody else, but
No, no, we'll talk to him about him in a second.
okay, okay,
That's my third. We're going through my list of my top three.
yeah. Uh, so sorry.
Whether he
What are
played
you
a game
asking?
in the season or not, the Leafs are have the same record.
Yeah, I see where you're going with this, but honestly, if I'm going into the playoffs, I'd rather have him in the lineup.
I'm not saying we don't want to have him.
Yeah.
I'm saying I think not only am I noticing it, but I've noticed it for a while. The channel, the people on the TV channels are noticing it. Leafs management is noticing it. That out of the people we needed to re-sign, we might not need to re-sign Mitch Marner.
Solely on the fact that they re-signed Domi.
I mean, they
But
seem like they really worked out hard to get contracts for everybody, but even Mitch Marner has said himself he doesn't seem like it's a priority for him to get a contract.
I've not heard him say that. If he actually did say that, that will raise some eyebrows. Um, that'll be interesting. Um, it'll be interesting to see if they actually re-sign Domi. Uh, if they do re-sign Domi, then that'll give him something to think about. But you know, that will
Well,
be
think of it like
interesting.
this. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but you're saying Max Domi. If they get Max Domi, maybe we don't need Mitch Marner. Max Domi is a dime a dozen guy that you can get. You can easily go to the free agent market at the end of the season and get two of those guys, and you'll still be paying $4 million less than you would if you signed Marner.
It's an interesting subject.
Tell me.
I will leave it with what you're saying because
He agrees with
I'm
me.
not
That's what he
sure
said.
at this point. Um,
Drop all of your
there's
hate in
there's
the comments.
there's a lot of things to look at. Um, but I will say this: if he actually did say that, um, because I
No, no, he
believe,
didn't say that. He just said there hasn't been contract talks.
okay, okay, because he's eligible to be re-signed at the July 1st. That's when it can happen, right?
I think so. I don't know for sure, but they're still allowed to have negotiations because they own the rights for him.
Yeah, yeah. I'll leave that alone for now.
That's fair. That's fair. We don't have enough information to talk about that.
Yeah.
But don't do it. Anyways, Justin Pogge.
No,
I
come
mean,
on.
Joseph Wall, same guy. We can't even tell the
No,
difference.
it's not. It's not the same guy.
Um, just not. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, you have a valid point. I mean, there are times where he looks really bad, and then there's times that he looks really good. The game against Jersey, he didn't look that good. I will also add to that the team in front of him didn't help him much either. You know, two on ones, a breakaway. Not moving guys in front of him. Um, he should have had that first goal. I can tell you that much. But um, and then he comes back and he plays a game like he did against Washington, where he got his together. I don't know if that has a lot to do with the fact that keep calling all those guys out, which I loved, by the way. Thank God, like he called everyone out. Um, but it just goes to show that he has quite a bit to. He has a bit to grow. He has a lot of growing to do. He has, you know, has a lot to do with the quote unquote maturity. But I'm not. I haven't lost faith in him just yet. I still think he has room to grow. Um, and yeah, I mean, you bring up a valid point. I know he has some bad games. He's had some bad games.
I just think that if you're looking at it, regardless of how the season started, okay, because it's non-negotiable. But right now, in the last 2 months, let's call it, Samsonov is the guy.
Yeah, he's definitely the guy. But I would argue that 3.5 months ago, Samsonov was not the guy.
Yeah, but neither was Wall. It was probably Martin
Yeah,
Jones.
yeah, yeah.
So
But
I mean,
like I
it's fine.
said, while before we've started filming, hey, we're gonna be all right, man. We got Matt Murray. He's gonna be good to go in the playoffs.
You know what? In terms of goaltending, though, I'm going to be honest. If we have Jones, Wall, and Samsonov, I'm not worried.
Who do you play in the first game?
Samsonov.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue that.
I think even if Samsonov loses badly, you still play him again in the second game. Then you question it after that.
Okay, if all those guys are available to you, all of them, who do you play in the third game?
Martin Jones.
Okay.
Why? Because he's still a good goalie and he has a shitload of experience in the playoffs.
Do you play Matt Murray at all? If the,
No,
if Samsonov's not working out and Jones is having a hard
I go to
time,
Wall.
okay, all right,
I would even let Wall play the third game, but I just think you're in the playoffs. Like, I think this is a time when for goaltending when sometimes the experience is what's going to get you where you need to go. Because a guy like Jones could just fucking turn it on in the playoffs. Excuse my
yeah.
language.
Let me ask you a question. If Murray is good to go before the season's over, do you let him play?
No, because you can't bring him off LTIR. We don't have cap space.
Okay,
If you could, I would let him play all the last 5 games of the season
okay.
and just rest everybody.
Well, let's say if they move Marner to the LTIR, let's just say he's not ready to go, and they move Marner to the LTIR. Do you allow Murray to play a couple games?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have him ready in case all your goalies get injured or something.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, just want to ask and
The
just
guy
want to
has
see
two
what you
Stanley
thought.
Cups.
Yeah,
Wait, does he have 3 Stanley Cups? No, two.
two.
Two. Anyways, yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else for Leafs. Do you have anything else?
Leafs, no.
All right. Well, that's all I have for Leafs. So I'm going to
Okay,
end this Leafs episode. That's about the Leafs. 'Cause there's nothing else about the Leafs. Peace out.